Hello, everybody. Welcome to NASPA Tonight, episode, 4 or 5?
Something like that. I think it's episode 8.
Okay,
overall,
episode 8. Let's stick
but
to
with
that.
you, it's episode 4.
Okay, let's stick to 8. It's episode 8
All right,
of NASPA
episode 8.
Tonight. Welcome. All your Scrabble news in less than 25 minutes. Oh, man, the clock needs to be
Get
started.
the clock ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
We've got a loaded agenda tonight. We've got a special guest who will be coming up soon. We're going to do a quick rundown. What's going on tonight? Question of the day. We're bringing on Jason Keller for an interview. We've got results to talk about from Albany, all kinds of crazy stories from there. We've got tournament talk where we predict the winners of tournaments and Scrabble having birthdays.
Scrabble birthdays.
We love it when people have their birthdays.
So we're going to start off with the question of the day. This week it's a bit different. We want everyone to tell us how you handle the stress of Scrabble or the stress of tournaments. Give us your best advice for how you handle stress. I have no idea how to handle stress. I try to breathe a lot, but I do that anyways.
Yeah, the real key is we want you to post in the comments.
Please comment.
And if you were to give advice to somebody who was dealing with Scrabble stress, what would you tell them to do?
Exactly.
That's
Whether
what
they're
we
stressed
want.
about anything. You can be stressed
You don't
about-
have any idea?
I mean, I take a lot of deep breaths. That's what I do. I try to control my breathing, Joe Adley style, and it helps a lot of the time. But sometimes I still want to throw my board across the room.
Right. And I just have a couple of drinks.
That always helps.
So here we go. Let's bring him in. The man, the
legend.
myth, the legend. Hold on, we're almost there. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do a proper intro. This is the man. He is a Scrabble expert. He is a multiple-time Jeopardy champion. He is a competitive crossword solver, and he's a professional tutor.
And he's a lover of the color orange, if you can't tell.
That is true.
Let's welcome in Jason Keller.
We're going to bring him in just 1 second. How are we setting this up? We did not talk about this. All right, we'll put us down here and Jason up here. Jason, how are you?
Hey, I missed you guys. It's only been, 24 hours?
Oh, yeah.
A little more than 24 hours, actually. But yeah, I missed you guys so much. I figured, maybe to have me on.
Fantastic. We really enjoyed hanging out with you in Albany.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Those were some crazy fry your brain games we had.
They were. They
got
were.
pretty intense. So we have some questions prepared for you, and then we're also going to do a mini Jeopardy match at the end where I made some questions, and I'm going to pit Josh Greenway against Jason Keller to see who the real Scrabble Jeopardy champion is.
There's no way I'm going to come out on top. I'm set up for a fall, that's for sure.
So my first question for you, Jason, is which have you studied more, Scrabble or trivia?
That's a good question. You know what? I would say Scrabble.
Scrabble.
I would actually say Scrabble because trivia, especially, it was a lot of college quiz bowl. That's kind of in my past. I don't really engage all that much with trivia anymore. I still have a bunch of friends who do it, but really now, if I'm looking at stuff, it's for Scrabble. There is the occasional time where I'll, do trivia after hours at a tournament or something like that. But, it's certainly, I have to say, if I have incentive, I'll go back to studying more trivia.
Was there a lot of studying getting ready for Jeopardy?
I looked over the Jeopardy archive. The thing was that I had played Quiz Bowl in college for a number of years before I started playing Scrabble. And so there's a lot of studying that will go into that.
Oh, I didn't know that. And yet you've won about 10 times more money in trivia than in Scrabble. So where's this studying going?
Wait, I'm sorry. I don't get the question.
It doesn't matter.
It's a rhetorical question.
It was just the point is you won a lot of money on Jeopardy. If people don't know, Jason won 9 days, right? Were you on for 10 days or on for 9 days?
So I won 9 games.
You won 9. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And it was what, 250,000?
A little less than that.
Okay.
Plus one in the Tournament of Champions. Let's not talk about that.
And for a long time, you were on the list of the top 10 money winners on Jeopardy. Are you still just in there? You've been bumped down a little bit.
I've been bumped down a little bit. I don't want to digress.
All right.
It's still pretty
There would be
amazing.
editorializing. There would be editorializing about some recent winnings, but let's move on.
So, I mean, I know you want to get out of this Tournament of Champions thing, but which would you rather win, the World Championship or the Tournament of Champions?
Yes.
All right.
Very good. Now, one of the things we wanted to talk about that we're all looking forward to is nationals. Nationals are coming up. There is a strong Collins field that's out there, and we wanted to get your thoughts on sort of breaking down the contenders for this year's Collins. Now, we can bring up a list. I'm going to bring up, normally you do the list, but I will bring it up. Do you have a favorite going into this thing outside of yourself, of course?
I know that definitely among the folks in North America who have been playing Collins for a long time, I think we're saying that Dave Wiegand is due. He's not won the Collins division. He's clearly won pretty much everything else other than that in the World Championships. He would certainly make, I think, the most sense to be the next champion.
Right.
So you wouldn't take the current world champion David Eldar, who's the third seed, right behind Dave Wiegand.
I mean, I'd have to think about that. I also don't know. It's tough. There are so many people at the top. You know, Adam Logan could win.
If he was going, he could win.
Yeah, we don't
know how much I've been paying attention to that.
That's right.
You have a lot of strong internationals. You have Craig Beavers coming over. He's won a world championship. You have Esther Perrins, who finished third at the Westpac a couple of years ago. Russell Honeybun, who's won a couple of Australian majors, or at least one. So yeah, there are a lot of people who could win.
And local boys like Day, Clinchy, and Rabinski, and whatever. You're like a plus 2,000 rated player, an awesome Scrabble player. You're rated 9th going in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I think my mindset and just how things have to go at nationals had to be a little bit different. I feel like I always run into something, so I'm not putting myself in the picture.
And so, what kind of odds would you give our fellow Albany player Josh Castellano? Because if some of you don't know, Josh Castellano just won the Collins division. He was Gibsonized after like 17 rounds. He started off 16-0, ended up 18-3. What do you think of that?
He certainly played better in the past, and certainly it's a credit to the work that he's put in that he was able to do so well. I mean, one thing though, you always want to be a little bit careful about a single result, or even, I mean, coming into last year's nationals, I ran away with Albany and I ran away in Atlanta. I was 19-3. Really? And even though I was playing the TWL division, and so it was a different dictionary, I also had a TWL win over Mac Meller going into the nationals, and I had a terrible nationals. So, I would not necessarily take anything from one result. And personally, whenever I have reached a milestone in Scrabble, I've always said to myself, well, you have to consolidate that. And you have to make sure that performance happens on a more consistent basis. So
that would be nice. I'm sure he wants that as well.
I'm sure he wants that as well. And I'm sure that if he can build on that, great. But, I don't necessarily know if that would move the needle as far as odds are concerned.
Yes.
And I'm not good at putting numbers on it.
So as the clock ticks down, we're just passing the 16-minute mark right now. I think we should move on to this little Jeopardy match.
Yeah, for sure. Get the questions ready, but I have a super important question.
Yes.
Why is Jason not wearing any orange?
What's going on?
There is, you know what? There is a little bit. I know you can't see it, but my polo shirt does.
Oh, we
All
can
right.
see it. A little
Done.
horse.
Also,
Nice.
I am in my work environment. It's not always about the orange. And honestly, you see, this is my work setup. Like, we don't have to see from the neck down, so I'm just in comfort here.
Right. How much
right.
comfort is the question? All right. Speaking of questions, let's move on. How are we
Yes.
doing this? Are
We
we
are-
raising our hand?
No, I think what we're gonna do. I
What-
guess we could raise our hand. I think you could just say out the answer as soon as you get it.
Okay.
Okay,
I think
let's
that's what
go.
we're gonna do. No buzzers. We can't afford that yet. So question 1. Everyone knows Paul Averin has the most NASPA games played at 8,733, but at 7,039 tournament games, this Scrabble player holds the number 2 ranking.
Ooh.
Who is Siri Chilakaratne?
Who is Karen Richards?
This is NASPA.
I know, but doesn't she, I guess she doesn't have
She
that many
doesn't
NASPA
have
games.
The correct answer is Jan Cardia.
Oh, of course.
Number 2 ranking. The score is 0-0. Question number 2. Marlon and Mac's highest placement at a nationals is 2nd. Mark Pistoles and Jason Lee have both come 4th. This person is the only player from Albany with a peak nationals finish of 3rd.
Well, not Joe Edley. So
Is this
hold on. Who played in Albany?
I think I'm going to make his questions easier next time.
Wait.
Hold on. Who is Jackson Smylie?
No.
No, you never came.
No.
Jason, you want to steal this one?
Who is Joey Malik?
Yes.
Oh,
Joey
yeah,
Mallett.
nice.
2007, 3rd place finish. 3rd question. This player has finished 10-10 exactly 8 times, more than any other player in NASPA. This is a tough one.
I don't know. How about who is Paul Averin?
He's close. He's at 2nd. He's gone 10-10 7 times, not quite 8.
Okay.
Who is, let's say, in New York, Sal Piro?
Not quite. The correct answer, all the way from San Francisco, is KC Fradima. She has finished 10-10 8 different times.
Well, those were some tough questions, but I got to give it to Jason. He wins.
He wins
Or
it.
how many
Although-
questions do you have?
I have one more question.
Okay, let's do it.
Jason leads 1-0. These 2 Scrabble players from Texas and Ontario are going to win the NASC rotisserie this year.
What?
Oh,
What
who are Jason Lee and Matt Kennick?
Very close. Matt Kennick is one of them, but Jackson Smiley's the other.
Oh,
because
wait.
Matt and I
Jason
always
Lee-
go on a team together.
Oh, I see.
And I wanted to lead that into the next quick topic, which is that the rotisserie is going to be opening up in just a few short days. It's the best time of the year. You get to choose who's going to win nationals. And you
Who's
get to win
running
money
the
doing so.
rotisserie?
I think Joey Krafchick and Ryan Fisher are running it.
Okay.
So let's
Well,
give a
that's
quick
exciting.
congratulations to Jason Keller for winning this Scrabble Jeopardy match.
You're the king.
1-0.
You're the king. All right, let's move on to Albany. We were all in Albany. We talked a little bit about Josh Castellano. I don't know if you have any particular thoughts of how things went at Albany. We certainly, look, there was an expectation that you were going to clean up there, as you usually do. So what happened? This kid caught all the breaks? What's going on?
A little bit of that and a little bit. I ran into a wall of terrible tiles in the middle of the tournament, and then a lot of times that snowballs. And honestly, I won the last 7 games, so I was 7-7, and I ended up 14-7. And you know, every that's one thing that I say. I work for my wins, and I really worked for my wins here, especially toward the end of the tournament.
And you came in second place, right?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Very
I did.
good. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Let's talk about TWL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TWL was very interesting.
Yeah.
What was crazy to me is that Joe Edley made one of the best comebacks ever, because just last weekend he played in Durham and lost a whole pile of rating. And then this weekend he comes back and wins Albany in a very dominating fashion at 16-5. So that was pretty sweet. He got all of his rating back and then some. And it was crazy because Joe Edley had to lose to Mac Meller twice in order to lose the tournament. And Mac Meller got him the first game, and then the second game, Joe Edley beat his beat his protege, I would say.
I see. Is Mac Joe Edley's protege?
He was at one point.
I see. Well, there you go. I think spiritually we're somewhat all Joe Edley's protege, or I certainly feel that way. Yeah. Joe's amazing. I got to spend a little bit of time with Joe doing an interview. And just like I did with Jason, I had a hell of a time doing that stuff. And that's in contrast to how playing Scrabble went for me this weekend.
Oh boy, tell us about that.
And for you.
I know, I didn't have a great time. I went 12-9, treaded water the whole time, lost 9 rating points. It's like, what can be more boring?
So this is the difference. Is you had a terrible tournament at 12-9. I think I went. Wait, were there 21? I think I went 7-14.
Okay.
I came in dead last in the main event. I came in dead last in early bird 2. I lost about 80 rating points. No one wants to hear this nonsense. And honestly, I have no real explanation other than I don't put any work into it. I care about other things other than playing Scrabble. But it really was a disaster.
Damn.
Jackson, clearly you need to teach Josh how to play Scrabble.
I'm trying. After these NASPA Tonight shows, we do some marathon study sessions.
Yes.
Obviously.
So the next topic that we wanted to talk about, this caused there was a little bit of controversy at Albany. One of the things that they do in Albany is they play the national anthem. That's because the tournament typically covers both July 1st, Canada Day, and July 4th, the 4th of July. I don't know if it's got a name like America Day. So there were a number of players. I believe there were 5 players who kneeled during the American anthem, and which
I think it started a Facebook dispute somewhere.
That's right.
So there were
yes. Unfortunately, poor Cheryl Melvin. Unfortunately, it blew up on her page because she talked a little bit about how she had all of the respect in the world for the people who did that.
Absolutely, and they garnered a whole bunch of kudos, but there were also people who were like, you tell these guys to leave the country and all that kind of stuff. And it's an interesting topic. I wanted to take a minute and talk about this. I'm certainly interested in Jason's perspective because I noticed he hashtagged all of his pictures impeach Donald, I think is what it said.
Want this to be, I don't want this to be too political.
Oh, that's no problem. Then I'll just express.
I was one of the people not pictured who was also doing that, and I just did that of my own volition. I do just feel, and not even from a political standpoint, but just from a standpoint of humanity, I feel like a lot of things that I'm seeing nowadays just smack of a sort of disrespect that I grew up suffering from. And so from that perspective, I just don't tolerate it. And I wish there would be some sort of aha moment where we just kind of wake up from it. And really, I don't want to say much more than that if I don't have to.
Hey, listen, I totally appreciate that. I didn't actually realize that you knelt as well. So that's pretty amazing. I tend to be one who, the first thing I wanted to say is I love everybody from Canada, from the US, but there's a tradition when it comes to the anthem that I don't particularly approve of. The reason anthems are traditionally played at baseball games and other sporting events is it was a sort of pre-World War II, maybe even back to World War I tradition that started to mobilize the public for war. And it's something that's carried on to this day, and people get so wrapped up in the flag that's why tensions go so high here. So I don't mind saying, I'm a pacifist. I take a strong anti-war stance. But at the same time, even up here in the relative, socialist comfort zone of Canada, I love America. I love Americans. I certainly support anybody kneeling for it, but I don't think we should. I think it's a crazy controversy anyway. So I wanted to show my support for the Americans, for Americans like Jason Keller, who's amazing, and I wouldn't, besmirch him at all for his nationality. So that's what I wanted to pass along: is know your history about the anthems. And this is a made up controversy. It's just it's crazy left and right. Okay. Anything else from Albany?
It was great.
All right.
The barbecue was
fun. Barbecue was awesome.
The
ice cream truck. It always reminds me of summer camp.
Oh, and how about that bonfire that was like 25 feet high? That was amazing.
Crazy. Yeah.
Someone put like a giant Christmas tree all dried up in there, and went way up.
That is usually the Tedesco tradition of burning the Christmas tree at July 4th.
Absolutely.
That has been going for many years.
I didn't know that. That's great.
And I believe it's a tradition, at the tournament or not, for the Dingling Man to stop by Annette's house on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
So number one, I do want to do a very quick shout out. We've had quite a number of people join us on Facebook, probably too many to mention, but certainly some of our faves: Josh Jr., Jillian, Cesar, Heidi. Anyway, there are tons of you on there, and we appreciate it. We want to remind you, the question of the day is: how do you deal with Scrabble stress? Or what advice would you give to someone who was experiencing Scrabble stress? Like any tips or tricks? If you can throw those into the comments, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think for me, just to throw in on that, it can be calming music and or YouTube videos.
Oh, what kind of YouTube videos?
Well, this goes to me being a big fan of all sport. Certain figure skating videos just put me in the right mind to be like, okay, I'm calm, I'm at ease, and this was very beautiful. And I have to remember, it's not about being the superstar necessarily. It's about just bringing quality.
Fantastic. I imagine we're talking about a lot of Tanya Harding videos. Is that right?
No. Share a birthday with her, but we're not talking about Tanya Harding.
You share a birthday with her? That's amazing. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk tournament talk. So the first thing that we want to cover with tournament talk is what the predictions were last week.
So we predicted Albany, and in the main event,
what do you want to cover first? TWL?
Let's do TWL first.
I predicted Mac Miller. He came in second.
I predicted Jason Lee. He came fourth. We were not right in the slightest. Joe Edley won.
Then Collins. Who did you predict first?
I predicted Jason Keller.
Oh, fantastic. I predicted
I tried.
Brad Whitmarsh. No dice. We haven't had one right yet.
This is amazing. I love it. Love being surprised. So this week we're going to predict...
go ahead, please.
I was going to say, can you predict that everyone else in the Collins division but me is going to win? For nationals?
For national, okay.
Oh, no, we're not ready.
It's like speaking of the Roto, just to go on that, I have told, because Judy Cole is rather notorious for picking Roto teams that finish in last, and her picks generally tend to not do so well. So I have asked her to pick other people in the Roto so that I'll do better at nationals.
Okay, so we're not ready to make a pick yet for nationals, but we do want to talk about next week. Now, before we get into predicting, what tournament happens next week?
So this coming weekend, we got the Mildness Madness tournament in Delaware. I think we both went there 4 years ago.
I remember that
Great tournament. But this weekend, what they're doing is a bit different. Instead of Madness doing their typical 39 games over 3 days, along with Mildness doing their own thing, they're doing everyone playing the Mildness tournament, and then the Madness players are playing an extra wraparound. So they play like 6 games in the morning and 6 games in the evening, just as an extra side tournament. So that makes predictions a bit weirder, because you could have a Madness player also winning Mildness. So we'll figure that out.
So it's very complicated.
It's complicated,
but what I want to say
it
is that Madness tournament is definitely worth it. That was one of my earliest multi-days, I think, or very early on. And playing that many games in that much time, it was pretty
It's a great experience. It's unlike any other tournament. You just wake up at 7 a.m., play Scrabble till like 11:30, and then go to bed. It's the best.
That's also where I met Joey Krafchick for the first time, who was our guest last week, who has the same initials as Jason Keller. 2 JKs.
It's very funny.
Who's next? Is there another JK?
John Karras.
Yes, Jonathan Kent. I love it.
2 more.
Or John Karras. Yeah.
Okay, he's watching.
So This weekend, we're going to predict Madness first.
There we go.
We have
Madness.
the list of players up there. Marlon Hill, Mark Pistoles, John Karras. There's our JK. So, Josh, who do you think is going to win Madness?
Well, this is a good question. So Mark was in Albany, and he did pretty well considering he hasn't played in like 2 years. He lives on the big island of Hawaii.
He might be moving, he told me.
Well, he's moving for a while, so he may come to Kingston Open.
Oh, yeah.
He may come to Kingston Open. Get your tickets early. And then, of course, we've got, well, as you can see on the screen, who we've got. You know what? I'm going to go ahead. He doesn't always win the tournaments. Sometimes he doesn't finish them. I'm going to pick Marlon Hill.
My man Marlon Hill. I'm going to go with Mark Pistoles. He's been doing really well.
Okay.
And how about mildness?
Mildness. Now, I still don't know. Forgive the art department. It doesn't quite fit on the screen, but here is the mildness. Now, and the mildness extends beyond this. So who's new on this list? Play Daniel, I see.
Peter Schwartzman,
right?
Edwin Roth.
So are we going to pick the same people, or are we going to pick? How about the highest finishing mildness player?
I mean, it's its own separate tournament, so you can pick anyone. I'm going to go with Marlon Hill to win mildness.
So, all right. I don't know how this is going to work, but I will then pick. Listen, I interviewed Mark. I really like Mark, but he's on a 2-year layoff, so I'm going to go with Play Daniel.
Play Daniel. Okay.
All right. I don't even
Lock
know.
It in.
Play. I don't know, but God damn it, get going. All right. You're not going to be as tired as the rest of them. You're going to be fresh. It's going to be good stuff.
So we are just over time right now.
That's all right.
And that leaves us just enough time to say thank you very much to
Hold
Jason
on.
Keller.
We're not quite done. We've still got one more little bit of business. Here, let's move Jason up here. All right. I want to say, because we've tagged them and they've checked in, I want to say happy birthday to Beth Mix, who was in Albany, Michael McLennan, Cynthia Seals, who celebrated her birthday with like 6 straight wins to open the tournament, Sari Karanovsky, Carl Madden, Cheryl Taylor, Helen Joffe. I like birthdays.
Birthdays are fun. I've had a few of my own, actually.
If you want your birthday shouted out on this show, there's an easy way to do it. Become friends with me. I was going to say with me or Jackson, but send me a Facebook friend request, and then we'll shout you out. Jason, when is your birthday?
November 12th.
November 12th. Are we still going to be doing the show at that point?
I mean, we'll see.
Oh, boy.
I hope so.
Fingers.
Maybe I could be a regular guest.
Fingers crossed. Absolutely. We're going to be repeating guests, and also in future weeks, we're going to let anyone call in.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
We'll announce it, yeah.
For sure. Is there anything else to talk about?
Anything else to talk about? Oh, we want to do a quick advisory board shout out to all the winners. Yeah. Very quickly, winner in the Northeast-ish was Cornelia Guest.
That's right. Congratulations to Cornelia.
I went.
And in the Midwest, it's Troy Thompson. Congratulations to Troy Thompson. Young Jackson here is going to be meeting these people, working with them over the next 2 years in a seat that he really didn't earn. He just volunteered for. So, but I'm looking for big things out of you.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen.
Both Troy and Cornelia have been on the advisory board for the last 2 years.
Okay.
They are seasoned. They are experienced, pretty much the opposite of you. But when I made that joke on Facebook, Cornelia stood up for you and said,
"Really,
Jackson will have a lot of youthful energy, and he'll be able to represent the youth on this board."
Amazing, biggest fan. Yeah. Thank you, Cornelia. They're always there for me.
Anyway, we're gonna have fun with that,
yeah.
And we've had fun here tonight. We appreciate everybody for joining, for commenting. We're going to keep doing this every week. If you want to see previous episodes, they're on the NASPA YouTube page. Jason, what do you have to plug?
What do I have to plug?
Yeah, root for you at Nationals, take you in the Roto.
A couple of things. First of all, thank you both for having me.
Yes.
Second of all, if you're playing CSW and you're in the Princeton, New Jersey area, we are holding a one-day tournament at the end of July. So please check us out on Cross Tables. We're going to have a nice cozy event at a local Panera.
Yes.
And of course, you can follow me on Instagram at OrangeJakeHell, or you can check out #Team NartG, because
Team NartG,
no one else
NAARTJIE.
Yes.
Nice. I really like how we asked Jason whether he had anything to plug, and he's like, "Oh, what?" And then he reels off 5 things. That's fantastic. I also want to give a big shout out. Chris Cree just joined the broadcast here.
Welcome, Chris
Hello,
Cree.
Chris. Thanks for
Mr.
being
NASPA.
here. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see Chris at Nationals,
Yeah.
and you get to see Chris. You get to come for dinner.
At the advisory board dinner.
That's right.
That's the only reason I joined.
Absolutely. And we neglected to talk about the fact that Jason Keller was the head of the tournament committee.
He was. We'll have to talk about that on November 12th, the next time he's
On
on
his
the show.
birthday. Okay. Thanks, everybody,
Thanks,
for joining.
Jason.
This
Thanks,
was a lot of
everyone.
fun. Somehow we got miscentered. See how the sign went over to the side?
Very odd.
I don't know what happened. I think I kicked the camera. Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks so much. We'll see you next week, next Tuesday at 8:30. NASPA Tonight, all your Scrabble news in about 25 minutes.